Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Political Vigilante. My name is Graham Elwood. Thank you for watching the show and listening on the iTunes. Great way to support the show is positive reviews, likes, subscribe, share these videos and audio podcasts out on all of your social media. And of course, the Patreon link is below. Going on the road with Ron Placone in the Southeast, June 20th through the 24th. We're going to Nashville, Huntsville, Alabama, Asheville, North Carolina, Louisville, Kentucky, and Atlanta, Georgia. All the show links, all the ticket links are now up. So go to grahamelwood.com and you can buy tickets if you're going to be in any of those areas. If you work for any progressive candidates and or progressive organizations in any of those towns and you want to have a presence at the show, please email me, info@grahamelwood.com, and we can set that up. I want to talk about an article that's in the CNN money section. And almost half of U.S. families can't afford basics like rent and food. And it's like a lot of these business articles that cover this sort of stuff. It's very quick. It's very short. Just a couple of facts. And they never go into why this is so fucked up. What is insane is this is the lowest unemployment rate since 2000. We are at 3.9%, the lowest unemployment rate. So what this is talking about is the working poor. This is like, well, if you get minimum wage or you are part of the gig economy and you drive for Uber or Lyft or something like that, well, you're working. You're not unemployed. You're not completely without a job. And why this is even more alarming, and what this article guaranteed does not go into, it doesn't say, wow, the country is enjoying the biggest corporate profits ever. CEOs just broke another record for yearly income. And yet here's what we have. Here are the statistics, right? It's just one of these quick little articles. It's in the show notes. You can just see it's in the money section. And then, of course, there's clickable ads for New York Life to get life insurance. There's investing and getting a savings account from Chase and Synchrony. Yeah. And then there's all this paid content about buying cars and all this other like fucking bullshit. But here it is. Here are the stats. Nearly 51 million households don't earn enough to afford a monthly budget that includes housing, food, childcare, healthcare, transportation, and cell phone, according to a study released Thursday by the United Way Alice Project. That's 43% of the households in the United States. 43%. And we're not in a recession. What's going to happen? What is going to happen? 51 million households when there's a crazy recession. What's going to happen? We're going to have 51 million unemployed people. The figure includes 16.1 million households living in poverty, as well as the 34.7 million families that the United Way has dubbed ALICE, which means asset limited, income constrained, employed, the working poor. That's a nice acronym for the working poor. The group makes less than what's needed to survive in the modern economy. Stephanie Hoops, who's the project director from the Alice Project within the United Way, says this: despite seemingly positive economic signs, the Alice data shows that financial hardship is still a pervasive problem. Because the economic gains are for the 1%. 83% of all stocks are owned by 1% of the population. So when these corporations are making all of this money, it doesn't trickle down. It does not trickle down. California, New Mexico, and Hawaii have the largest share of struggling families at 49% each. North Dakota has the lowest at 32%. Many of these folks are the nation's child workers, home health aides, office assistants, and store clerks who work low-paying jobs and have little savings. The study noted some 66% of jobs in the U.S. pay less than $20 an hour. I'm proud to say that the part-time producer I have that works on this show gets $20 an hour. The study also drilled down to the county level. For instance, in Seattle's King County, the annual household survival budget for a family of 4, including 1 infant and 1 preschooler, in 2016 was nearly $85,000. That's a survival budget for a two-parent, two-child household. This would require an hourly wage of $42.46. But in Washington state, only 14% of jobs pay more than $40 an hour. That's the thing, too. And we've talked about this before on the show. In big cities like LA and other big cities, San Francisco, New York, Chicago, the home prices are going up. Rents are going up. Cost of living is going up. So while the national average for income is $42,000, I know plenty of people that make 40, 50, 60 grand a year. You think that's a pretty decent wage, not when everything keeps going up, not when you have to pay your own health insurance, or even if you do have health insurance and God forbid something happens, then you're still paying all this extra money. The Seattle City Council just passed a controversial tax on big businesses to help alleviate the city's growing homelessness and affordable housing programs. It's only a controversy to the big businesses that don't want to eke into their huge profit margins. That's the end of the article. That's the end of the article. That's the end of the article. There's a hyperlink to this Seattle City Council tax. Which is good. But this is it. I mean, this is, again, another one of these like 5-6 paragraph articles that talks about the inequities, but there's no way CNN Money section is going to go into why unregulated capitalism has created this awful situation. It's not going to hold the one percenters accountable because the one percenters own CNN. The one percenters want you to buy their bullshit stocks. They want you to buy 100 shares or 500 shares of the bullshit stocks because the one percenters own all the millions of stocks. They want you to put, you know, your money in their banks and go into debt, because if you're in debt, they're profiting. There's like $200 trillion in debt around the world. And something like $80 billion in actual currency. So this just shows two things. One, how this country is set to explode with mass unemployment, the next recession that's coming. And two, the corporate media won't talk about it. There's nothing in here about there's another recession coming, there's a housing bubble, there's a student loan bubble, there's a car bubble, there's the carbon fuel bubble. I've talked about that before. I started talking about that about a year ago, which is the bubble with the carbon industry. And the governor of the Bank of England said that what's going to happen is it's not when we run out of fossil fuels. It's when investing, seeing a long-term return on your investment in fossil fuels, when they start pulling their money out, then the carbon bubble can pop and it'll decimate the global economy. What's going to happen to these 43% of the households that can't afford basic necessities? Or the 63% of Americans that don't have $1,000 in saving? Half of the population is going to be in abject poverty, and it'll happen quick. So try to protect yourself as best you can financially, and man, all the more reason to vote for progressives in this midterm election. So, and what the mainstream media is not talking about is very loud. So, thank you for watching and supporting the show. And I'll keep covering stuff like this for you.